based on Article 195. Out that it would have been more appropriate for Mr. Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, to address this House according to Article 144, an article which was specifically designed to debate violations of human rights, democracy, and the rule of law, which is clearly the case with Mr. Trudeau. Then again, a prime minister who openly admires the Chinese basic dictatorship, who tramples on fundamental rights by persecuting and criminalizing his own citizens as terrorists just because they dared to stand up to his perverted concept of democracy, should not be allowed to speak in this House at all. Mr. Trudeau, you are a disgrace for any democracy. Please spare us your presence. Thank you.
So yes, it was an awesome moment, but just before going on about all of this, about democracy and stuff like that, there was a big event, we could say it, last week. Before starting this interview, do you have a word for the royal family following the decease of Elizabeth II? And what is your wish for the new king, Charles III, and what it means to you?
Okay, so first of all, yes, I absolutely would like to extend my heartfelt condolences to the royal family as well as to the British people, because with the passing of Queen Elizabeth II, I will have to say, yes, she was quite something. The commitment to her country, to her people, that was outstanding. And that's exactly, you know, the kind of quality that any leader of any country would, basically have to possess in order to credibly represent any country. And in my belief, it is my belief, she did that. Practically, she was living her life for her country, for her people. Now, there might be some disputes as to whether she always did the right thing, but that's not the point. The point is she sacrificed basically her life to her country and her people, and that is a quality I absolutely admire. And she set a great example in doing that. So my really heartfelt condolences do go out to the royal family and the British people. When it comes to King Charles III, I think it is.
Yes, it is the third.
Now that they have a king in Great Britain. Well, I wish him all the best, of course, but I seriously doubt that he will be able to live up to the high standards his mother set when it comes to representing a kingdom. But, you know, maybe we are in for a surprise. I don't know. What I am a little concerned about is his commitment to the so-called climate change. He has been advocating for this for quite some time, decades. So we will have to see how this pans out. But I fear that going forward with this advocacy for so-called man-made climate change will bring great detriment to peoples all over the world. And I think beginnings we're already seeing. So please forgive me if I do not have that much respect for your new king, at least not as much respect as I had for his mother, which I absolutely admired.
Don't worry about it. And it's not my king. I know. I'm in Canada. Technically, yes.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Yeah. But I know. I agree with you totally. We'll see what he will do, if he will follow he will follow the traces of his mother to not be involved much in politics. Now he's a king, but as I said, yes, the leftist climate deny woke agenda. Now they have a king. Well,
Right,
basically.
right. And you know what, would like to add to that, I find it absolutely despicable, after the passing of the Queen Elizabeth II, how especially representatives of the left and the Green had nothing better to do than to, basically slander her, calling her a white supremacist. And, I mean, when I was born and raised, or, my parents raised me to not talk bad about people that have just passed, but this just goes to show they have no manners, they have no upbringing, none of that. So I would like to add to that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. I well appreciate it. And you just began to talk a little bit about your family, but you're a great defender of democracy. Quickly, why is this fight so important to you? I think, yes, that could be related to your family history, your own history, but why is democracy really touches you much?
Because I truly believe that there is no higher ideal that any human will strive for but freedom. And you have seen, throughout history, whenever you infringe on people's freedom, whether it be, you lock them up, you keep them in slavery, the desire to be free in the end will always prevail, because people will not put up with this. It might work for some time, but you are not capable of keeping them in an unfree state for, for forever. You will just not be able to do that. So and there is a story in my family as well. My parents were born and raised, or were born in the 1920s. So they were raised actually during Nazi Germany. My dad then went on. He was drafted when he was 16 years old. He was drafted to fight World War II. And once he got back, he found himself being a prisoner of war with the Americans. He was released then. And when he returned home with Thüringen, he found himself, in communism, basically. And he was like, so that's what I fought for, the very concept, what he had been told all through school and all through his teenage years, that they were fighting for freedom. And now he found himself sitting in communism, where freedom is nothing, I mean, it's not, it's worth the paper it's written on. So he was a smart young man back then. So he, questioned them.
He passes it to you, yes. And many young people right now doesn't know what is communism.
Exactly. That's the point. So he realized, so he asked, these uncomfortable questions. And as you can imagine, that doesn't go down too well in the communist country. So lo and behold, he was arrested by the Russians, by the way. He was tried for, he was accused of having committed anti-Soviet espionage, which was completely, bullocks, basically. But he was sentenced to 25 years of hard labor to the most horrific prison you can imagine, Bautzen. And it was, luckily, he was released after having been there for 5 years. Otherwise, I would not be here today. But that's how I grew up, in a household where, freedom and democracy, that is above all. And you fight for this, and you always question, and you never believe anything anyone tells you, no matter how grand it sounds. You just don't. You always, like I said, look for the ulterior motive behind it. So yes, I'm very adamant about preserving, or now I will have to say fight, to regain freedom and democracy. And that's basically my story behind it. But what you mentioned, you are absolutely right. Young people nowadays, and I always kind of call it the disease of the Western democracies. A lot of young people, they have no clue what it means to be stuck in an anti-democratic regime, in a totalitarian regime. They don't appreciate it anymore. They have no clue that the freedom and democracy that we today enjoy or enjoyed for some time, that they were ideals that have been fought for by our fathers and forefathers. They spilled their blood so their children, grandchildren could enjoy all of this. But to them, it's just, well, it's always been here and it will always be here. So there is no point in defending it. And they are making a huge mistake. And I will have to say, especially the ones that claim they fight totalitarianism, they wouldn't recognize totalitarianism if it, jumped up and bit them in their faces. They have no clue anymore.
Yeah. So then maybe that's what a part of the answer of my next question. What bothered you the most about Justin Trudeau that made you do this speech against him? Any particular trigger? Anything special that you saw, you heard, and then you said in your mind, well, it's enough. It's enough.
Okay, so basically, it wasn't Trudeau specifically. I mean, when especially throughout the Corona pandemic, when you look at all of the world leaders across the world, especially in the Western democracies, they had all the same lines. They all apparently followed the same script. I mean, it's like in the free world, you now lock down economies. You don't allow people to step outside their houses anymore because there is this deadly disease, which turned out to be not all that deadly after all. But that to me, it was just, what is going on here? But when it comes to Trudeau, he seriously overstepped in a major way, in my book anyway, when there were citizens like the Freedom Truckers. They said, no, enough is enough. And I would really say they are obviously of sane mind. They got their stuff together and realized what is going on here, because it was never about fighting the next wave. It was never about breaking the next wave. It was always about breaking people. That was the point. And apparently they realized it, and they decided we're gonna, stand up and defend our freedom and our rights. Yeah. And the way he lashed back at them, what happened then? They were being called terrorists. They were, misogynist. I mean,
that's what he treated us.
Exactly.
I'm part of this. Yeah.
And to me, it's like, okay, he's calling his own citizens who don't agree with the way he does things. He's calling them all these names. Yeah. Where are the people saying, hello, something is not right here? If someone exercises his right to protest against a government measure that he does not agree with, it's always been an absolute right of every free citizen to do so. But once you penalize citizens for doing that, well, guess what? Apparently, you're no longer living in a free world, and something is going on. Yeah. And it's really frustrating. Why do only a few people realize what's going on? That to me will remain a puzzle. I don't know.
Yeah, and as you said, we saw it from here. It was almost the same narrative, almost exactly probably the same McKinsey firm that put the words. Do you have, we saw some of your colleagues also talking to Trudeau, but after that, do you have other people in Europe telling you that, well, you did well, we were shy to tell him, but we did it. We were proud of you.
Well, that's another problem we're actually having in the democracy or the parliaments in the Western democracies right now. I would gather there are some colleagues, they tell me like, walking down the hall, you're absolutely right, but, we can't say it, or, for whatever reason. So anyway, there are representatives that kind of do know we're not really doing the right thing here, but
Yeah.
They are more loyal to their party. I would like want to put it this way. And furthermore, they're more concerned about re-election. So if they spoke up and if they truly spoke their mind, then they would run the risk of not being, put on the next list to be re-elected into parliament, because their party or the leadership of their parties, they would basically make sure that they will not be on that list anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of them just go along, keep quiet. Behind the scenes, they will concede, that wasn't all that good what we did, but they would never publicly stand up and say that. And that to me is just, that is so despicable, because they were elected by the people. They are paid by the people to represent the people.
Supposed to represent them.
To represent a party. We were not elected to represent big government or big farmer, or we are elected to represent the best interest of the people. And as far as I'm concerned, I will do that. And if I'm not reelected for doing that, so be it. But I will not, and I do not want to be reelected for something that I just fooled people into thinking that I am. And if I'm not elected for the person who I actually am, so be it. I can live with that, no problem.
Good.
But I will not.
That's the difference between the difference between convictions and cowardice.
Right.
I
exactly.
see it. Yeah. Conviction first for me.
Right.
It's important. Thank you very much for this. Two last questions about in Canada. Canada is still lagging behind the world on COVID measures. Yes, we still have something over our head. Even New Zealand recently has now abolished all its measures, and so has Germany, from what I heard now. What do you think is driving Justin Trudeau to continue this nonsense? Maybe you answer it in part. Maybe why continue? And many reports, more and more, are getting out right now. It's not good, but they continue to do it. Is it what you see from Europe? What's happening in Canada?
Well, it makes no sense to continue it, and to be honest, it never made sense to begin with.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was never about fighting a pandemic. The goal really was something entirely different. But yeah, they are continuing it, and it's not only happening in Canada. In fact, in Germany, we are blessed with a health minister who, I can't really put it any other way. He is absolutely insane. In Germany, we're still wearing masks on flights and public transportation, like buses and trains and all of that. And they will. The rest of Europe, they all abandoned all of this.
Yeah.
But in Germany, apparently, there is either a different kind of virus, or it's a virus that gets on once the train, passes the border and reaches Germany. I don't know. It's beyond me. But we are still doing that. And they will, all of the measures, I actually said that when we came out of last winter, and they were promising us that all the measures would go. I said, well, they're going to be back. I just know it, because it's too good for them. This crisis
inside, a sense of control power, something like that.
It's all about controlling
political
people.
control. Yeah.
Right, but this will happen in every country, especially, once again, unfortunately, in the Western democracies, because, like I said, they seem to follow some kind of a script. I don't know what that script is, but there seems to be a script.
Yeah.
And when our German health minister basically introduced the new measures coming in fall, he was talking about, now it's not fully vaccinated, it's now freshly vaccinated.
Yeah.
And freshly vaccinated constitutes when your last shot was no longer than 3 months ago.
Yeah, the same narrative. Justin Trudeau just told
Exactly.
that last week. The same narrative.
Pieces over this, and they said, no, of course, no one. That's just not sensible to have anyone, vaccinated every 3 months. But guess what? He didn't come up with this, because I just got the EU Commission proposal to fight the pandemic with the coming fall and winter, and they're talking about shots every 3 months too. So, like I said, they were following a script. So all the people that thought it's going to be over now, well, guess what? No, it's not. They will come back, and they will lash down even further. In Germany, what they will introduce now is the color-coded QR code.
Oh.
Well, haven't we seen that before? Well, yeah, when I think about it, they have that in China, don't they?
Yeah,
So,
it's the Chinese model, and
exactly.
I followed Germany since I was young. I wanted to go to Germany when I was young, but I don't recognize anymore the Germany right now.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. So it's not your fault. I don't recognize it either.
Okay.
So especially when we're talking about the energy crisis that we're facing.
And then our next topic will cover it. It's incredible what is going on right now.
I will have to say, Germany right now must have the dumbest government ever seen in the entire history of mankind. So, but we're facing this, and they are, of course, concerned about, major uproars, demonstrations, protests. So, voila, there you go. Introduce new measures, color code your QR code, and guess what? All the known critics, may suddenly have a red QR code and may no longer be able to, go anywhere. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's their game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just talking, and we'll do the bridge between Europe and Canada. There was a visit recently in Canada from the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. He was in Canada recently to talk about energy, but it was a failed opportunity. I will show people the article about it. It was a failed trip from what we see, and even in French, it wasn't good. Trudeau's, you see the title of this article, Trudeau's empty promises to Germany about the energy. And at the end, the conclusion is harsh. For now, both leaders will keep on pretending to be doing something, and ordinary people in Germany and much of the world will pay a high price.
Yeah.
So did you cover it a little bit in Germany, this trip? Do you have some impacts? Did it have some impact?
It was like, they are desperate at this point, because they didn't listen to what Trump said. I think it was in 2018.
2018. Yes, they laughed at him. Yeah.
Exactly. They were laughing their butts off, because this idiot Trump would say any such thing, which is not true, But yeah, it turns out, guess what? He was right. And there have been tons of people telling them, we are dependent, if we shut down our nuclear power, we can't rely on solar power or the wind, because guess what? There's going to be times the wind's not blowing, the sun's not shining. Well, well, there you go. They knew it all better, and now they travel. They see, the traumatic situation that we will face comes winter. So they travel to Canada in the hopes, they would solve their problem. And it didn't, work out the way they had planned. No. Because what they had hoped for is that, Canada would have said, we got you covered through the winter, we will do whatever.
Not at all.
Said, well, sorry, pals, you're on your own.
Yeah, we destroy our energetic independence too here. We were so stupid as that. So
right. But fun fact on that part is, when the plane actually, when they went to Canada on their important mission to secure energy for Germany, they were journalists on board, and they were all so busy taking pictures of this important flight and how they're sitting there with the chancellor and, Habeck, the Secretary of Energy. And guess what? None of them were wearing masks.
No,
well, there you go. No, they were not. But the point is, on every flight going to Germany or leaving Germany, there is a mask mandate.
Oh, like
and
Canada.
So, they got ripped to shreds, came up with all kind of lame excuses. And now a new thing in the German media is whenever government officials go anywhere on the plane, but we were wearing masks. Look, here's a picture. We were wearing masks. It's so ridiculous.
Hypocrisy. Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. In Europe now, yes, unfortunately, the Ukraine-Russia war continues. Before talking about the devastating effects of the sanctions, not against Russia, but against Europe, I would like to know what the European Union has actually done for peace. All we heard was about sanctions, weapons, money sent to Ukraine, a country well known for its corruption for years. And just yesterday, Germany announced a new help Ukraine will receive, and it's from Germany. Incredible! I saw this news again. So it's in a war logic, not a peace logic. So Ukraine will receive 4 RST air defense systems for Germany to arrive this year, and Germany is giving some heavy equipment, modern equipment to Ukraine, just like that. But what did the European Union do for peace? Concretely, I didn't hear much about talks of peace.
Short answer, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. Okay.
Just about weapon and money.
Thing is this. I mean that Putin invaded another country with military powers.
Yes.
That's a no-go. You do not do that. Point blank. Okay.
Yes.
Having said that, the point is this. This war did not start on February 25th of this year. This war started at the very latest in November 2014.
Yes.
And what happened then, respectively, what preceded that? Well, very simple. The Ukraine was supposed to join EU as a member. And there have been talks, so-called association talks. They had been going on. But the Ukrainian people didn't want to. And they, voiced their opinion of not wanting to join EU. So, and then their elected president back then said, well, my people don't want to join EU. So therefore, we will no longer pursue, the talks of joining EU. Well, yeah, that didn't go down too well, because the point is this. Once the EU, and I'm not even clear on whether they are the driving force behind that, or if they are just puppets of whoever themselves, I don't know. But they will not take no for an answer. So, and that would have led to the events on the Euromaidan, which we all know today, that was not, the shooting going on where protesters were being shot. And we were, in Germany at least, we were being fed the lines that the shots were fired from pro-Russian rebels, you know. But today we all know, and it's proven beyond a doubt, no, that wasn't pro-Russian rebels. It was some forces, foreign forces,
So many gray things happen. It's not clear.
Exactly.
Behind exactly this conflict.
Right. So exactly. That point is not clear, but clear is it wasn't pro-Russian rebels. So anyway, because EU or whoever else is behind them will not take no for an answer. So what the regime changed in Ukraine, and from there on it kind of all started. So yes, EU did not do anything to basically get along with that neighbor we have back east. They didn't do anything. On the contrary, they fueled the fire, so to speak. You know.
Yeah, and European Union UE doesn't have in fact the power over the states, but the states let UE having this power.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's not a real parliament. When you said that,
Right.
I found it very interesting. It's true. It's not a real parliament.
No, I mean the EU Parliament. We are no parliament.
Yeah.
We are a big democracy illusion here. We have nothing to decide. You know, we are not even, we don't even have the competencies or the powers that any democratically elected parliament all over the world has. We don't. We just sit there and we, you know, vote on some resolution, debate some resolution, which in essence is nothing more than, you know, like a nice letter to EU Commission. We, you know, would like if you could, you know, look into this, that, and the other, but they don't have to do this. So, I mean, we are no parliament. That's for starters. So, but like I said, there is some script going on. I'm not privy to that, but I see the results of that script.
Yeah.
And as far as, you know, this whole situation now is concerned, they have actually backed us into a situation where, I mean, you know, that Putin is not, you know, maybe that stable, to put it mildly, you know, it needs to be quite obvious. So, but is it really that clever to back someone who does not appear to be quite stable into a corner where he has no way out anymore without
exactly?
You know,
In fact, they pushed him in China with China.
Exactly. And this guy, I'm sorry, is sitting on nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
How responsible and clever is it to back a guy like this into a corner where there is no way out?
Exactly.
So diplomacy looks completely different to me. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And for the next question,
And,
well,
you know, to add this, maybe, I mean, you know, since I'm a German, I'm often asked, well, yeah, but if you don't support the hard sanctions against Russia and all of that, are you not supporting Putin with that? And I'm like, well, what good does it do the Ukrainian people if the Germans sit in a dark house and have no heating? You know, that is not, this isn't going to do anyone any good whatsoever. So be realistic about it. You know, that's my point.
And you love my next question then, because you touch it a little bit. Well, the economic sanctions are real boomerangs against Europe, but especially Germany. The euro money is falling. Factories are cutting back production or closing. A major energy crisis is looming. With a weak Germany, does the European Union still have a good future, you think?
Well, from the looks of it, they are determined to destroy Germany, because that's what they're doing right now. If you basically shut down our energy, you know, we are an industrial power, you know, and if you have no energy, you cannot produce anything. So ergo, you will not, you know, be able to, you know, not even live anymore. So now it's even all the climate change sanctions and all of this going on.
The next war, and there's a fake books answer us about it.
Now we're even looking at not even being able to keep the trucks running, you know, so they could provide the stores with stock and whatever. So yeah, all of this is going on. And I really, at this point, don't understand what their end game is in this. But the point is this: if Germany falls, if the economic power that Germany once was, and no longer will be, but if this falls, who's gonna finance all of their ideological crap? Seriously, who is gonna finance it? Because up until now, it was Germany. You know, we went along with just about anything, no matter what the German people
The
thought.
economic power of the European Union is Germany.
It is Germany.
Or was.
Yeah. So, I mean, seriously, you are now destroying Germany. And to be clear, these sanctions that were supposed to punish Russia and were supposed to be a hardship on Russia, well, guess what? They're not.
No.
I mean, Putin is probably laughing his butt off at our stupidity because, I mean, his pockets is fuller than ever, you know?
Mm.
And yeah, but I really don't understand what their end game is on this, because if they destroy basically our financial power to support all this ideological crap, then who will, you know?
Mm.
And I guess
so European Union is at risk. You supported, you supported,
which actually might not be that bad after all.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope so. We want we all want a strong Europe, you know, not a weak one, of course. But
yeah, well, but, you know, there is the question: what is a strong Europe? Is a strong Europe? Does that mean to have a strong EU?
For me,
which
no.
it doesn't. I could tell
but
you,
for me,
no,
I would prefer free
strong
states,
Europe.
free independent sovereign states.
Exactly. A strong Europe would be having strong national sovereign states. Yeah.
Not a European Parliament. You supported the Brexit. Would you support a German exit? Because there is talk about Frexit, you know, Frexit, Italy exit. It doesn't go well right now with the energy crisis in Italy. Some people talk about in France leaving the European Union, in Italy too. But in Germany, is this something you could support, or is it in the talks in Germany?
So the question was, do I support Germany
German exit?
EU?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I do. Because the point is this. Hang on, I just got a phone call, which I
don't worry.
Okay. Well, the point is this. Our first idea, of course, was we have to reform this place. We have to reform the EU, because when you look at the basis of how it was founded, it was a really good idea to begin with. But it turned into this utterly, usurping whatever, you know, just killing all of the national identity, killing all of the national member states, leveling them basically. And that's not, hang on just 1 second.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to cut this short now because I have another point that I forgot about. But let me finish this point. So it was a really good idea, but they perverted it. You know, in this place, there is no point in trying to reform it anymore because they don't want to. And we, as a party, or you know, with our friends from other countries who fight the same fight, we don't have the power to make them, you know, getting into reforms and fixing all of this. So the only thing we really can do is, you know, get the heck out of here.
Yeah, I understand. So you have to go. You have a special meeting.
Yes, unfortunately, I do. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Maybe you have 30 seconds to talk about maybe the global workout, the reignite freedom rapidly.
I would love to.
So
I couldn't do it now, so I'm very sorry.
So we maybe have another point. So thank you very much, Christine Anderson. It was very pleasant to have you.
Thank you so much.
People liked it, and we'll talk again for the next.
Yeah, I would be honored to be on again, and we can talk some more. I'm very sorry I have to go now.
Thank you very much. So have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So it was Christine Anderson with FNL Freedom News Nouvelle Libre, and the translations will be available on YouTube. I will do something about it to have the subtitles in French. So thank you very much. Merci beaucoup d'avoir assisté. Et as you see, well, it happened. She has emergency. She is working very hard, so it's difficult to have her for time, enough time. So it was generous from her and his team to take this interview with us. So thank you very much, Christine, and merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you very much. So we'll see you again. Bye.